Hello, this is Dr. Ned Hallowell coming to you from my home in Arlington, Massachusetts, and I'm very happy to announce the publication of my new book, my latest book, which is unlike any book I've written ever before. It's a memoir, and it's called Because I Come from a Crazy Family: The Making of a Psychiatrist. It is a storybook, really, a series of true stories, starting from when I was born, going through my early training in psychiatry. There's no advice in this book. This is not a book about ADD or anything else. It's simply a book about my pretty crazy family, wonderful family. I love this family. It's not a book about harrowing experiences. Well, some of them are harrowing, but it's not in no way is it a book about woe is me at all. It's a book about wonderful people, eccentric people, difficult people, for sure. But it's a book of beating the odds, really. And I thought I'd read you the first paragraph to get us started, the first few paragraphs to get us started, just to give you a sense of it. I come from an old New England WASP family characterized by what I call the WASP triad: alcoholism, mental illness, and politeness. You could be tipsy, even quite sloshed. You could be a bit off, even mad as a hatter. But none of that really mattered as long as you were polite. The point was never to let life rock you overmuch. Be debonair under duress, be cool under attack, be a good egg. No tears. We specialized in a pitiless pragmatism that deplored sentimentality and revered character. You paddled your own canoe, and if you fell out, well, fare thee well. These things happen. No matter what, we carried on. Rather than ever show sadness, we bucked up. Rather than get angry, we practiced the velvet art of courteous cruelty. You could be as nasty as you wanted to be, as long as you did it with wit and a smile. Above all, your job was to be a good sport. Expressing painful feelings was self-indulgent and embarrassing and created an uncomfortable mess no one wanted to be part of or to clean up. We all knew what a raw deal life could be, but our way of making do was to look it in the eye and with the tip of the hat walk on by. If we couldn't beat the devil, we could at least refuse to let him shut us down. Happiness lay in never taking anything too seriously. These are my people, and I love them. But I took a different turn. And the book moves on from there, story upon story, character upon character, the people I grew up with, the schools I attended, interesting stories, fascinating people, I like to think, lots of humor, surprises, the Vietnam War, my time in Charleston with a very difficult stepfather, and my time in various boarding schools where I pretty much grew up from the age of 10. Medical school in New Orleans, a city that I fell in love with, at Tulane. Training back at the old Massachusetts Mental Health Center, which I also fell in love with. Learning how to become a psychiatrist, learning how to sit with people in various states of pain and disorganization. All recorded as best I could, as clearly as I could, in as engaging a way as I could in this book. Because I come from a crazy family, it's an honest book. I like to think it's a funny book, a witty book. I like to think it's also poignant. I hope you'll read it and let me know what you think of it. I'd love to hear your comments on it. You can email me directly at my personal email address, drhallowell, drhallowell, @gmail.com. I'd truly love to hear from you. This is obviously written very personally, but it's out there for you to comment on and write to me. I also hope it sort of gives people permission to be open about their own lives. Mental illnesses have been taboo for too long, I think, and most families have been touched by one form or another. I don't even like the term mental illness, but might as well call it that, But most families have been touched by one form or another. And the fact is that most interesting, creative people, many, if not most, have one form or another, be it depression or substance use disorder or anxiety disorder or attention deficit disorder, dyslexia, bipolar disorder. Most highly intelligent, creative people have one or another of these conditions. So to keep them secret, for families to keep it secret, to be ashamed of it, is just a terrible, terrible thing. It only makes it worse. My dad was psychotic, and I grew up, the family sort of kept it under wraps. That shouldn't happen. Just shouldn't happen. My uncle had a crippling anxiety disorder. It basically cost him the career he should have had, and nobody really talked about it. Why did he go sort of hide down in Chatham instead of becoming the big businessman he should have become? Nobody really talked about it. And nobody really understood it as well. And, psychiatry was still getting its bearings. And really it's why I became a psychiatrist, was to try to understand this stuff and save my family and save other families. It's a wonderful field where we really can do a lot of good, but most people don't avail themselves of it because of the stigma that still remains, and that does a lot of harm. I'm trying my best to reduce that, and it's one of the reasons for writing this memoir. But the main reason was to entertain. The main reason was to write a book that would be engaging and give people a good read, which I hope I've done. Well, this is Dr. Ned Hallowell offering you my little baby here. that's me as a baby, because I come from a crazy family, the making of a psychiatrist. Thank you for joining me today.